Okay, again, today we're going to talk about making icons. Again, I'm going to start with a new document inside of Illustrator. I'm going to say File, New. In this case, we're going to have multiple artboards, but for now we can just start with one artboard. Again, I'm not worried about size right this moment. I just want to make an artboard that's square, And of course, since it's for the screen, I'm going to start with RGB. So I'm going to hit OK. I'll start with my square piece. Again, I'm going to make kind of a clog or kind of a wheel kind of looking thing. I'm going to use my ellipse tool right here. I'm not going to worry about color right now because I'm going to change the color later. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to put my cursor in the middle of the screen. You'll notice that the mouse, as you move it around, will find the center automatically. So when you find the center, it should say center. If I hold down the Option key on the keyboard, it'll give me a circle that'll grow from the center out. Again, I'm holding down the Option key on the keyboard, and as I hold the Shift key down as I start, it'll give me a perfect circle. So I'm going to kind of start with a circle that's about half the size of the artboard. So I just made a perfect, you all know how to make the perfect circle? Again, it's the Option key on the keyboard, right? And you start in the center, you hold it down, it makes a perfect circle. Next, I told you I was going to use the rounded rectangle tool. Now, the rounded rectangle tool is a very important tool inside of Illustrator. What it does is it gives you round rectangles. I'm just going to draw a quick one so you can see what I'm doing. If I click and draw, you'll notice it gives me kind of a pill-like shape there. Okay, now the roundness of the edges are determined by, if you double click on the icon, it's not giving me an option. Usually it gives you an option for adjusting the round edges. No, round rectangle. I know I've adjusted it somehow. Clicking twice on the screen will give me it, but it's not very easy to determine. Quarter radius 0.1667. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know. Let me turn that down to. Let me make it half that. What do I want? What's half of 0.1667? 0.08. How about that? There we go. Something like that is what I wanted. How did I get that? Well, I double-clicked using the round rectangle tool. I double-clicked on the screen. It brought up this option right here that told me width, height, and radius. Width, height, and radius. Which one? This one?
Yeah, there it is. You see the little circles and the long corners?
Yeah, but will you type in an option? Oh, you can adjust all of them. Thank you. That's kind of a new thing right there. Beautiful. Let me do that again. So let's draw a square. Let's just draw it. Let's draw it in the middle the way I want it. So again, round rectangle tool. I'm going to start in the center. I'm going to start again in the center. Start in the center. I'm going to hold down the Option key on the keyboard. I'm going to draw my rectangle out kind of like this to give me my clogs and my wheel. And then, would you say the direct selection tool, this one right here?
Yeah.
And then click inside, or?
There's little selected, and then there's, yeah.
Oh, no, this one, the white selection tool. There we go. So if we use the direct selection tool, the white one, you can select, and then there's like a little corner thing. Look at that. Oh, that is cool. And you can adjust it. See? One reason why to get the new version, right? That's not in CS6, I can tell you that. I was struggling today. I was making something in Illustrator this morning. I was working in Illustrator all morning, and I have CS6 on my laptop. I need to get this version. I already own it. I just haven't downloaded it and installed it yet.
Takes a while.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to rotate. Remember we talked about rotating, just like we did when we did the flower, right? I'm going to rotate by holding down the this one, the rotate tool is this one right here. See it? It's called the rotate tool. Again, it's going to rotate from the center. And I'm going to hold down the, the Option key, was it? No, that wasn't it. Cancel. We want to start. I don't want to do that. How did I do that? Oh, start moving it with the rotate tool first, then hold down the option key. So after you start rotating, then hold down the option key, and then hold down the shift key. Then hold down the shift key. So let me do that again. So again, using the rotate tool, like we did with the flower, I'm going to put my cursor inside. I'm going to click and start moving it. Start moving it. Then hold down the option key on the keyboard, and then hold down the shift key. And the reason why you want the shift key is so it makes a perfect 45-degree angle. Right? The shift key will make a perfect 45-degree angle. Did you see that? Then let your finger up off the mouse. And then, of course, what did we do when we did it with the flower? It was then Command T or D, was it? Do you remember? I think it was T. No, it wasn't T. How about D? It was D. There we go. It was D. So see if you can remember how to do that like we did when we did the... In this case, we want to combine all these objects together into one object, and then we want to cut a hole through the middle to make it look like a clog or like a bike spoke, you know. So we're going to select all, hitting Command A on the keyboard. Command A on the keyboard selects all. Then we're going to go to Pathfinder, which is a pop-up window under Window Pathfinder. Pathfinder. In the Pathfinder window, there's a variety of different tools. You got your shape modes up here and your pathfinders down here. What is the difference? Well, the shape modes are used to combine shapes together, which we want to do. The pathfinder is a little bit different. It's a great way of making new objects by cutting. It's kind of more of a cut method. Okay, so think of the shape modes as combining or extracting something, and the pathfinder is a way of splitting things up. Okay, that sort of way. So, of course, the one we want is the first one under the Shapes mode under Pathfinder is called Unite. If we click on that, it's going to take that and make it into one object. So now we have, so it took all the objects that were there, and wherever they overlapped, it combined them together into one object. See, making something like this, how easy it was if you think of shapes first, and then put them together, and then use one of the Pathfinders. Now, of course, we still want to cut a hole through the middle. So I'm going to go and use the ellipse tool. The ellipse tool. Or you can put a star in the middle if you want. That might be kind of interesting instead of making it just plain round in the middle. Hey, maybe we want a star. Put a star in the middle. There's a star tool. Hey, let's do it. Something different than a plain circle. I'm going to use the star tool right there. Again, it's called the star tool. I'm going to click, remember, put my cursor right where it says center, right where it says center. I'm going to hold down the option key and I'm going to click and drag. And then I'm going to hold down the shift key to keep it so it doesn't wiggle sideways. Everybody got that? Again, I use the star tool. There we go. Now that still doesn't have a hole in it though. Okay, because once we do the 3D extruding, the 3D, you want to see the 3D effect inside the little part in the middle. Okay, so you need to actually cut a hole through this. So we need to cut this star out of this one. So again, I'm going to use the Command A to select all. Command A selects all. Command A. Then I'm going to go back to my Pathfinder, and I want this one's on top. So we're going to use the one on top to cut a hole through to the one on the bottom. And if you roll your cursor over the Pathfinder options, we used Unite. Minus front, ooh, that looks like the one I'm going to use. But again, you got intersect, you have exclude, you have divide, you have trim, you have merge, you have crop, you have outline, and you have minus back. The one we really want is minus front, which is this one. If I click on this one, it doesn't look like it did anything. Okay, but what it really did was it took that star shape that is in here, and if you click in there, you'll notice there's no object there anymore. What it did was it cut a hole through this object. It cut a hole through. That's why you can't click in here, because there's nothing there. There's a hole there. Here you can click, but here you can't. Here you click, but here you can't. Here I click, and I'm going to give it a color. Let's give it a color. So I'm going to go underneath the color swatches here, and I'm going to double click on it, and let's choose a beautiful color for our icon. Look at that beautiful color. Everybody cool so far? You get the idea of how to make new objects from existing objects and how to cut a hole through something. Okay, next we're going to extrude this and make it into a 3D object. Okay, let me pause this video. This is a beautiful kind of clogged wheel here, but wouldn't it be nice if it kind of had a 3D look to it? So to give it a 3D look, we're going to go underneath Effects, 3D, and I'm going to use Extrude and Bevel. There's the three. It's Extrude and Bevel, Revolve, and Rotate. Okay, it's underneath Effects. What the extrude is done, and if you hit the extrude option here, you'll notice what it does is, if you hit the preview, you'll see what it does. It kind of pulls your object apart. You can rotate your object in this wheel and you can kind of see the 3D effect that it's giving you. Okay. Now, how it gives you a shadow and the depth of the extrude is right here where it says extrude depth. You can click and give it less depth if you want. And I'm going to give it just a little bit, maybe about 10. There's different types of shading. You can make it wireframe if you want it to look like that. That gives you a kind of a 3D look to it. Wireframe. Then you have no shading, diffuse shading, and plastic shading. What is that? There's like a different kind of light source. Again, you can rotate your object up here and you'll see what it looks like in 3D space right here. Again, I have the preview option selected so I can see it. Again, extrude depth. Now the bevel is kind of how the edge looks. Ooh, that doesn't look very good. I'm not going to use bevel. Let's see. If you go to load more options, you can change the way the light is on your object. In addition, if you click on more, I clicked on more options, you can also change the color of the shading. Right now the edges of my 3D object are black. You can actually adjust that by choosing a color if you want. So what do the edges look like? Oh, and turning off the stroke actually makes a better looking 3D object maybe if you want. There we go. So again, there's a lighting option here that adjusts how the lighting is for your 3D object. There's also a shading option that changes the edges, where how the shade is the edge. That looks like a nice clogged wheel here. I don't know what it's telling me though. I didn't follow the golden rules of icon design, did I? I don't know what my icon is for. What would a clogged wheel with a star in the middle be for? Let me pause. Adjust your 3D. Say, oh, it looks beautiful, but I want to make it a little bit longer. You don't apply another 3D, that'll mess everything up. Don't apply another 3D. The way to do it is to use the appearance window. Again, you remember the appearance window? When you go to the appearance window, you'll notice there is the extrude and bevel in the appearance window. You double click here and it'll take you right back to the options where you were. Okay, so if you want to go back, you go to the appearance window, appearance, double click here, or just click once and it takes you back to the way it was, and then you can make your adjustments. Okay, so I'm going to hit cancel because I like the way it was. I just want to show you how to adjust it if you want to. Okay, let's give it a background color. My icon might be nice if it had a nice simple gradient background. Right? You've looked at icons before. Some of them have gradient backgrounds. Not all of them are solid. Look at the stock one. The stock one has a nice blue light on top, dark blue in the middle, and light on the end with just a little line that goes jump. So you can have gradient. You ever see the Apple Store one with the little triangle looking paintbrush pencil? There's a paintbrush and a circle, but it has like these sort of lines on it. Did you see that one? So let's make a simple gradient for the background. Again, I'm going to just use a rectangle tool, a rectangle. And I'm going to draw a nice big rectangle over the entire background. And turn the stroke off. And then use the gradient option and adjust the gradient option. Let's give it a nice blue to kind of a light blue. So let's give the edge a dark blue. And then another kind of dark blue. How about that? And then you can always adjust your gradient using the gradient pop-up menu, right? You all know how to do that by now. You can adjust the type of gradient you want. You can pull these little diamonds right here so the gradient is more in the middle. And then I'm going to rotate my gradient so it goes from top to bottom. And then I'm going to send this object all the way to the back by using the object, arrange, send to back. There we go. So I made just a simple rectangle with a gradient. See, remember this is gradient right here, gradient. And then I adjusted the colors of the gradient and I send it all the way to the back. And some problems that we're going to run into. Let me duplicate this. Let me just... The problem you run into is as you scale, the extrude stays the same. Look how my icon looks. And the stroke stays the same. Do you see that? Okay, so we have to scale a different way than just dragging it. Okay, there is a way to scale it so everything scales. I just want to point that out. That's a common problem that, because remember, we're going to make different size artboards with different size things, and we're going to scale it to fit in each one. The problem is if you just use the scale tool, you're going to run into this problem where it scales it like that. Okay, so how we're going to scale is a little bit different. I'm going to duplicate my object just to show you. I'm not ready to do the artboard yet. I'm going to duplicate my object, but this time instead of using the your normal, you would usually put your cursor up here, right, and drag to scale it, right? Instead of doing that, we're going to double click on the scale tool. The scale tool is over here. You click twice on the scale tool over here, it brings up the scale options. Notice how there's a checkbox that says Scale, Stroke, and Effects. Scale, Stroke, and Effects. I'm going to click on that. Okay, and then you can actually scale a specific percentage if you want. 10%. Oops. And you hit OK. It makes it small, but notice how the stroke and the effect also scale. Do you see that? That's very important. I hope you understand. Okay? You can't just select it and drag it with using what we're used to doing. You need to use the scale tool to do it, and make sure you check the box that says scale that. Okay, now we're ready to make our artboards. Okay? So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to keep that one right now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make different... Ooh, I might save before my computer crashes, because you know that's going to happen, and you're going to have to start over. Let's save our file. This is Jeff's icon. Save before we crash. Save before we crash. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make different size artboards okay, for the different icons, right? So if we go to, and we don't remember because we didn't write down things, but you probably should write down things. If we go to Angel, right, and we go to our, log into Angel, we can go in our reading for our class here for this week. Remember the latest Apple human interface ideas and then Apple icon size. So let's go look at the sizes before we make them. Here we go. So these are the different sizes we need to make for the different Apple products. Let's just do that. You can figure Android out, I'm sure of that. They had sizes for Android. So they're all in pixel sizes, right? If you look at them. Of course, the iPhone 6 gives 180 by 180 pixels. iPhone 6 and, oh, this is plus. That's why it's that. This is 6 and 5. This is 4S. This is iPad and iPad 2 and iPad mini. So we want to make all of those because you have to give Apple all those different sizes when you submit your app. Okay, so when you submit your app, you have to give them that. So to do that, let me print this out so I don't forget because I'm going to forget. Let me print this window out. Is there a way to print it? Oh, that printer takes forever to print. You guys are going to remember all these sizes for me, right? Well, we only need one that's probably 120 by 120. So we have 180 by 180, 120 by 120, 152 by 152, and 76 by 76. You guys going to remember all those for me? Because I'm going to go back to Illustrator, right? Okay, remember those. Oh, and then we need to do the 124 by 124 for the Apple Store. See that right there? Okay, so let's go back. So what we're going to do is we're going to make different artboards. To make a new artboard, there is a artboard tool. It's right here. Okay, it's called the artboard tool. If you click twice on the artboard tool, it will open up. It will open up. And we want to make a new artboard. How do we make a new one? How do we make a new one? Well, name artboard 2. Let's see. Oh, here's the new option right here, new artboard. Okay, again, I click on the artboard tool right here, and this one right here, there's like a little icon right here. It looks like a little, remember the fold kind of page peel right here? See it? Boom. No, it didn't give me a new artboard. Didn't it say new artboard when I rolled over it? New artboard? Oh, it makes it and you have to draw it. Okay, so again, I clicked here and then it put my cursor down here and it's going to make a new artboard. Okay, so we need to change the size of this. Up here, you'll notice you have inches up here. Once we put our artboard on there, I'm going to type in where it says width and height. And what did I say? What was the first one? 180 pixels by 180 pixels. Is that 2.5 inches? Okay. So this is, what was this one for? I'm going to give it a name. Was it for the iPhone Plus? What was it? Yeah. iPhone 6 Plus. So give it a name. Right here's the name. This was new. This was name. This was size. I know it's in inches, but you just type in PX when you're typing it in. Put PX, PX. Okay. Next, we want to scale. We want to duplicate it. I'm going to duplicate it by selecting all the artwork, by drawing a box around it. And to duplicate it, I'm going to hold down the Option key and click and drag into there. Another way, and remember, we're going to scale here using the scale tool. And just use the scale tool here. So use this tool. Don't use this. Use the scale tool. If you use the scale tool and scale your object up, it should keep the, oh, it didn't quite fit quite right. I was close. A little bit too big. think there's a way to scale it to fit exactly into the art board. There's a way to do that. Hold on. Okay, again, that was this scale tool. Use this scale tool right here. Shrink it down just a bit. Let me do it again. It's driving me nuts here. Oh, but it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. There we go. Woo. Finally got it to fit. Okay, let's do another one. So again, the artboard tool is this one. We're going to hit the new artboard. We're going to click on the screen. We're going to change the size. What was the next one? 120 by px. Px for pixel. And then, what was it? 120 px. So 120 by 120. Again, I'm going to duplicate my icon here. And then I'm going to scale it to fit in there using the scale tool. Okay. And that was, which one was that for? This is iPhone 5, right? 4, or no, iPhone 6 and 5? 6 and 5? This one was the Plus, and this was the iPhone 6 and 5, right? So let's do another one, another artboard. Go to the artboard, is this one right here. Artboard, let's make a new artboard. And what was this dimension?
124 by
124?
or 152 by 152 for the iPad.
152? PX? 152 PX? And that was for, let's name it. So this is for the, which iPad?
I didn't notice that.
Okay, let me go back to the thing here. Where are we at? Oh, this is for iPad and iPad Mini, not iPad 2. This is for iPad and iPad Mini. This is iPad and iPad Mini, right? Okay, and so we're going to scale that one up. And then what was the one on the end? This was 76 by 76, right? So artboard, new artboard, and we're doing 76 px by 76 px, right? And then we're going to duplicate it and scale that. And that was, did we get the right, did I name it? I can't remember. Oh, no, I didn't name it yet. This one is, what did I say it was for? This was for iPad Mini 2? Was it Mini 2? Or iPad 2? iPad 2 and what else? No. iPad 2 and iPad mini. I don't know what the difference between this iPad mini and this iPad mini is. I don't know, that's what it says. iPad 2 and iPad mini. Okay, and then there was what, 150, what was the one for the store? Wasn't there one for the Apple store? 124 by 120. Thank you. That was very nice. So we're going to go to the there we go, and then we're going to make a new one, and we're going to type in again 124. No, 1024. It was 1024, right? PX by, oh no, it can't be 1024. What was it? 152? Oh, it is 1024. Wow, that's a lot. 1024 by 1024 PX? Really? It's like taking up the whole screen. Really? That can't be right. That can't be right. How about we trash that one and forget about it? There we go. These look good. So make different sizes. Don't worry about that other one. I don't know why it's going. It's going crazy. Let's like, so we have this one. It was for, we had, this one was for iPhone Plus. This is for, oh, this one I didn't name it. What was the second one I made? I think that was iPhone. Oh, what about this one? This one is iPhone.
Third one is the 4S.
This one was what?
The iPhone 4S.
iPhone 4S. Okay. You get the idea of how to make an artboard though and scale it down, right? Okay. Let's talk about exporting it out. What format does Apple want? Do they say? For all images and icons, the PNG format is recommended. You should avoid using interlaced PNG. The standard 8-bit depth for icons and images is 24-bit. That is 8 bits for red. So you want a 24-bit PNG. You want to export out a 24-bit PNG. Okay, you know what the word interlacing refers to. Do not interlace. Okay? So, do you remember the days of the slow internet? Who remembers the day of the slow internet? Dial-up connections and everything? Do you remember those days? Do you remember when you would download a picture and it would be kind of blurry and it would get clearer, clearer, clearer as it's downloading? That's what the interlace. You were able to apply that to a picture so that as it's downloading over the internet, a little bit of the picture would show up as it's being downloaded. We don't want that anymore. Yeah, we don't have slow internet anymore. Trying to avoid that. That actually causes more problems when sometimes your file is corrupt. So make sure that interlacing is not checked. Okay, let's go and export out. So inside of, you can save your Illustrator file. Let's save it. Make sure we save. Okay, now we're going to export out each one of these as a separate file to give to Apple. So how we do that is I'm going to select the artboard tool. I'm going to select one of my artboards, whatever one. Oh, I just made a new one for some reason. I'm going to select my artboard, and I'm going to go underneath the File, Save for Web. File, Save for Web. In the Save for Web window, it'll show you the icon for the artboard that you had selected. So what I'm looking at is the one I had selected, the artboard that I had selected. Of course, the format's not JPEG. What did they tell us to save it as? PNG 24. PNG 24. Don't check the interlaced is what they're saying. Now, I don't know why mine's a little bit off. It says 197 by 180. I'm a little bit off. We can type in the 180 there and make it, oh, turn off the constrain. I'm going to fake it here, squish it, make sure it's perfect. I think it was 1 pixel off. You can see it right there. Then I'm gonna hit the save window, and of course this is gonna be this was the iPhone. No, this was the iPhone 6 Plus, right? Oops, iPhone 6 Plus dot PNG. Then you would select each artboard and save it as a PNG. Does that make sense? Okay, so you can make a document like this that has all of them. Let me pause this video here.